How did I end up here? $13,000 in credit card debt, $20,000 in student loans, and $28,000 in business loans. Why the heck did I pay $2,000 for this stupid mattress? Oh yeah, 24 months no interest, they said. This is my real story. And eventually I was able to pay off $70,000 of debt
with an income of $48,000 a year. And I did all of this in 1 year. How? I'm gonna show you in this video with these 5 steps I actually followed. Let's get right into it.
Step 1, face the monster head on.
Over half of Americans do not like to talk about money. I think that's why 70% of us are basically living paycheck to paycheck. So to pay off your debt faster, you're going to have to talk about your money. You're going to have to talk about your debt, not with me, but with yourself. So here's what you're going to have to do. Write down all the debt you have. That means credit card debt, student loan debt, car loans, everything. And when you do this, you want to track 3 main things about all of those debts: the balance, the interest rates, and also the monthly minimum payment. And this is what we call the reality check. It's you taking your debt from being in your head, being too big, something you just ignore, to now putting it on a piece of paper where you're actually able to see all of its details. That's the first step, the reality check. Now we know exactly what we're facing up against.
Step 2, choose the best plan.
You're going to have to pick a debt payoff strategy. Both these strategies are great, but they don't have the same success rate. In a second, I'll tell you exactly which one I used. But the snowball method, the first one, it's about paying the smallest debt first and then building up momentum and going from there. The avalanche method, which is basically the second one, is all about paying the debt with the highest interest rate. That way you save money mathematically. Now, if you're trying to pick which one do I use, Tommy, snowball method or avalanche method? Well, I want you to think about it like this.
Whenever you play a video game for the first time, you start off with simple levels that give you small wins and you build up confidence. This keeps you motivated to keep playing. The snowball method works the same. By you paying off your small debts first, you get motivated and you have a higher chance of success. But imagine if you started a video game for the first time and you have to face the final boss or the final level right away. It's possible to do it, but it's going to take a lot of work. You are not going to get any small wins and no help building motivation or habits to actually continue on. The avalanche method doesn't care about motivation. It only cares about saving money mathematically. It's why you pay the highest interest debt, even if it's the highest balance, and you'll be paying for a year or for 2 years without feeling like you're making progress or without getting any small wins. It's all mathematical and less emotional when it comes to the avalanche method.
So which method did I use? I personally used the avalanche method. At the time, it is what worked best for me, but I highly recommend you use the snowball method because you're going to have a better chance of success. So to do this, all you have to do is pay the minimum balance on all of your debt and use the extra money to put that towards the smallest debt. This is going to build momentum over time as you pay one small debt, then the next small debt, and this way, it feels like a video game when you're making progress every single time.
Step 3, get serious.
Once you pick a strategy to go ahead and face this debt, you're going to have to find as much money as possible. So we're going to start by basically cutting your expenses. Now for me, I canceled unused subscriptions, I ate out less, and on top of that, I sold everything I did not need, including sneakers, including gaming consoles, just about everything. I became a reseller overnight. On top of that, I would pause all investing I have going on, whether with my employer or my personal investing, because your priority at this time should be on paying off this high interest debt. Once you're done with the high interest debt, then you could possibly resume your investments, okay? And build wealth even faster without having the headache of owing a bunch of money. Now, here are a few things you could do to cut your expenses the right way. To do this, we're going to have to calculate your net income. So here's how we do that. Number one, I want you to calculate your bare bone budget. That basically means the money you need to spend to live. That includes spending money on shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Calculate that figure and then write it down on a piece of paper. Second, start adding in all the bills you decided you're not going to cut. I still want to have Netflix, well, put that in there, okay? Add in all the other bills. Then third, you want to subtract that number, that total, from your income. So if you have a $4,000 income and your bare bone budget plus your other bills add up to $3,000, 4,000 minus 3,000 gives you $1,000, and that's going to be your net income. Now, if you got a negative number while you were doing this calculation, I have news for you. You need to consider moving apartments or selling the house or selling the car or doing something drastic. Or next, well, you have to make more money. Now, here's a bonus tip just for you. Although I cut my expenses to the bone, the only way I was able to do that and sustain it was because I gave myself 1 to 5% of every paycheck to have fun. It's the only way I was able to sustain such a harsh budget. 2, well, I stopped getting into more debt. Along the way, I stopped using credit cards altogether. I actually hid them first, then I cut them, and I just stopped using them, okay? And third, I gave up on paying off certain things. Not gave up on I'm not paying it, but instead of paying it off, I sold it and called it a day and stopped worrying about it. I had a car loan for 3 years. Instead of taking 3 years to pay it, sold the car, paid the difference in 6 months, boom, I was done with it.
Step 4. Earn extra paper.
The only way I was actually able to pay off $70,000 of debt with an income of $48,000 was by earning more money. It's the only way you can do it because you can only cut so far until you start bleeding. Now, the idea is, for me, I did side hustles. I did eBay and reselling, and that earned me like an extra $2,000 every single month sometimes, and even more other months. For you, you could maybe do, for example, Uber, delivering pizzas, side hustles, whatever you choose to do. Now, this is not about working yourself to death. It's more about making a small sacrifice now, or a big one, then be better off tomorrow. And trust me, by earning more money, that's the fastest way to pay off your debt. As long as you use all the extra money towards paying your debt, this is going to help a lot. But I highly recommend that if the cost of doing that is going to be to sacrifice time with your wife and your family, and you're not going to be able to see them at all, the answer is don't do it. If you can't do it right, don't do it. You're supposed to be able to get more work, but still have time with your wife, your kids, your family, and friends. I've seen people actually arrive to a certain goal, but they have nothing left. They have no wife anymore, they have no children anymore, and no one basically is there for them. This goal is not more important than your family and your kids. So if it means that instead of getting to your goal in 1 year, well, now it's gonna take you a year and a half or 2 years, well, get there slower, because either way, you're going to get there. Some of you guys are going to be doing this for like a year, 2 years. But some people are in a hole that's so deep, and I know it's fine, you can get out of it, don't worry, that it's gonna take them like 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. So to get there, you might have to sacrifice so much, but the answer is don't do it. Just try as hard as possible, but do not neglect the truly important things. Money is not more important than your family. You can do this the right way.
Step 5. Stay motivated.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Although you have all these steps, this is still going to be hard. I truly do believe you can do it because you're doing something most people don't do, and that is try and get serious and face the reality, okay? Now, here are 3 things I highly recommend you do to stay motivated. Number 1, celebrate every single time you pay off a debt. I mean, every single time. Do not cheat yourself out of this, okay? Whether you want to celebrate with money or you want to celebrate with time, whatever you want to do, but just celebrate. For me, I did it with money. every time I would go to Chipotle and I paid off a debt, I would get extra guac. That's how I basically got my little reward, okay? Number 2, have a big reward to look forward to in cash when you're fully debt-free. For me, that was buying a brand new iPhone in cash for the first time ever, because I always bought it used and it makes sense. And once I had it, guess what I did? I sold it for the same price. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Guess what? On this journey to getting debt free, you are going to become a different person. You're going to care a lot less about material things, and you're going to care a lot more about your freedom. Trust me, it's going to happen. And third, the minute you get paid and you have that money to pay the debt, do not wait until the month is due to pay off that credit card. Pay it off bi-weekly or weekly, how you actually get paid. Why? Because people get paid, they save the money for the end of the month, something happens and the money's gone, okay? Pay it the minute you get it. Pay it the minute you get it. And that's gonna keep you motivated, is gonna keep you going, and you're gonna form great habits to get there. Now, that's all the information I have for you guys. And I think that's all the information you honestly need. You got this. Just by making it to the end of this video, I think you know more than 99% of people out there that want to pay their debts but don't know how to get started. Well, now you know how to get started. Now, do me a favor and comment down below what your smallest debt is and by when you're going to pay it off. And when you're done paying it off, come back to this video and comment down below the date and say, I paid it off. I'm very excited to see your progress. I'm very excited to see how you get it done. And I believe in you, and I think you can actually do it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. And as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified so you don't miss any videos. And here's another video that you can actually watch about money, of course.